be recorded. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
mine says we're live.
it
Mine
says
says
we're live. Um, it says this will not be recorded because it says we're out of storage. So I guess that we're having trouble streaming to your destination. Is it possible that the stream was ended? Um, Incorrect key. I don't know. Edit. Title. August AMA. Save changes. Let's see. I don't know. Are we actually live? No, we're not up there. It says we're live.
mine. Oh, mine says we're live on the little up in the corner.
Okay, here is. Oh, okay. Well, we're here. Maybe we're here. Does anyone see us? Oh no. Oh my. Okay, let's go to the live button. Yeah, it says 3 waiting. So, like, I bet you we have to use that other link so people
Oh,
know.
wait, loud and clear. So they're hearing us.
Oh, I don't have my comments are on.
I got Charles Hall just said he could hear us loud and clear. Thank you,
Where,
Charles.
oh, thank goodness. Okay, so Charles is here. Okay, but on our page, it's just not. Okay, it says we're live. Oh, there's two. There's two of them now because I messed up. So, I mean, I think I need a lesson in how to do this because I'm just going. There's 2 waiting in the other room. I don't know if there's a way to tell those people like to use this one. Does anyone know? This is hello and welcome to an AMA with 2 people from the
Don't
Tobias
know.
Literary Agency who have no idea what they are doing with this technology. Thank you for joining us this evening. Okay. Charles, is there a way to tell the people that we're waiting in the other place? Were you waiting in the other place?
There's too many realities.
I wonder if there's a
Can
way
you
to like.
can you lot? Is it on another screen? Like
Yeah,
another tab? Can you go over to another tab and
I have it. I have my thing open over here, but if you just go to our homepage and you just click on our live, that you see us. There we are. But it's just not the link that was already up there.
okay.
Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna have to roll with it because I don't know how to fix this now. And
Can we post another link?
um sure.
Okay.
Sure, we can totally do that. Somehow.
Okay.
Okay,
Let me
here. I'll go over
see.
here. And I'll go over here.
Um,
And I'll go over here.
you can't just like could I?
Find us here. Link. Okay, so I just posted it there.
We'll see. We'll see
I
if
don't
that
know where else
comes.
to post anywhere else. So I don't have access to like the
Right.
social medias, so I can just post as a person. So I don't even know if we're over on the Facebooks. No idea. But
Hmm.
Charles is hanging out with us tonight. Hi, Charles. How are you this evening? Do. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Tobias.
Oh, we've got another
We got another one. Okay, so someone else is figuring it out. Okay, excellent.
Right.
So I'm loving that. That's fantastic. Oh, we're live on Facebook. Okay, so that's good. So come ask us questions. That worked out just fine. Um, and we must be on
Okay.
Twitter. So, ah, trying to fix a manuscript. Isn't that like what it's like
We're all
always?
trying to do.
Always. It's like perpetual state of trying to fix something. All right. Well, we're just gonna get going with Charles and Charlie. It looks like. Hello, Charlie Ray, and we're just gonna get going and start. And I am Anne
Okay.
Rose, and this is Kelly Dyksterhouse,
Hello.
and we are your very incompetent tech podcast hosts for this evening. Wow. I mean, we're very competent agents. We're just not very good at this technology.
But
So
we're persistent.
yeah, I mean, we didn't give up. We're not giving up here. So hopefully we'll figure something out. Who knows? Oh, I have some notifications over. No, 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 no. So I don't know. All right. Well, we're just gonna roll. We're just gonna roll. We're just
Yeah,
gonna roll with it
sounds good.
and just start. And I don't think this is recording because like I said, oh oh this one did stop. Oh, it started and then it stopped on face. Oh no, that isn't Facebook. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. Okay. Anyway,
Is
so
this like one of those
let's.
situations where you can't hear yourself if you're on or you can't see yourself? You know how, like, if you call into a radio show, you can't be listening to the radio while you're talking because it's like there's a delay or there's something. So maybe that's,
You
I
know
don't
what?
know. I'm
We're
so
just we're just
technologically not,
we're
yeah,
just rolling
that's
with
fine.
it.
Okay.
Okay, so Charles and Charlie Ray are two guests. Thank you so much for showing up and finding us. We're here to answer all of your questions. So go ahead and put them in the chat. And while we are waiting for others to join us, we actually do have some questions that we can start off with. So I
Yeah.
will pull one up. So just give me a second here. We lost someone. They came in and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be a part of this shit show." And they left. I noticed we went down a viewer. So sorry, whomever left. We will miss you. Okay. So here is a question that we will try to answer. Whew, look at that. I almost know what I'm doing. So, what is the difference between a pitch and a hook? This is actually a really great question. Do you want to
That
take a
is big.
swing?
So my interpretation of the
Yeah.
answer for this is that a pitch contains a hook. A hook is small and there to, it's usually one sentence to get the reader's interest, hook them like you would hook a fish on a line, and the pitch expounds upon the hook. That's what how I would define the differentiate between the two of those. How about you?
That is a really great way to put it. And I agree. Like you can definitely have one without the other, but they work most effectively when they are together, right? And I think also when we're talking about hooks, we're talking about what makes this book different than all the other books in that genre, right? So what would make someone want to pick this particular book up over this one or this one or this one? So what is the standout thing in
Mm,
it? So that is kind of also how I see a hook. But I do think that you are correct that it could be useful as part of a pitch.
yeah.
All right. Well, that didn't take very long. So
No,
let's go
it
on
didn't.
to find another question.
Okay.
So let's see. Hold on. Just have to copy and paste from our handy dandy list over here, and we'll put it up over here. All right, we gained our fall. Whoever was there before who didn't come, and now they're back. So love
Okay.
that. Love that.
Good.
Okay. So, well, it could be someone new too. But anyway, here we go. How can I tell if my story has stakes? What are good ways to raise the stakes in a story? Oh, that is a very good question. So, Kelly, would you like? I'm just going to keep asking you first because it's just you
Yeah.
and me. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
Um, how can I tell if my story has stakes? I think of stakes. Okay, like I'm trying to think of like a litmus test you could put your story through to see if there's stakes. Basically, there has to be something. I'm just kidding, that's not they're at stake. Like there has to be something to lose. There has to be a
Yeah.
so what question. Your if your character's desire, their want has to be very clear because the want defines the stakes. So I think that if there's nothing to lose in your story, then you might want to evaluate the stakes. And what are good ways to raise the stakes in a story? Well, let's take that first question first, and you respond to that too. Like,
Okay.
how
So
would you
I
say this
think
works?
I think you're right, right? Like, so it is stakes are based on like character goals and motivations, right? So
Right,
it's really important to anchor those in first because recently I was reading something where, a character wanted to do a certain thing, but if they didn't, it wasn't a big deal. Like there were
right.
other options, right? So you almost have to make it so that there aren't other options. If character doesn't do X, Y will happen, right? So I also see this a lot of
Yeah,
times in
like, the
mysteries.
consequences have to hurt. Like, there
Right,
has
the
to be a reason.
consequences have to hurt, and it
Yeah,
has to be something that they need to do. It can't just be something that they they
yeah.
they would like. It'd be nice, but, but it's something that's like a necessity, right? So, Katniss, right? She has to win the Hunger Games, otherwise she dies. Death
Right.
is always one of the best highest stakes that you can get, right? So death, the world explodes, those are like the highest stakes. But even stories that are quiet, it should feel like the end or the death or however you want to put it of that
Mhm.
character's world. Like they're not going to physically or die, but metaphorically somehow. Like it's just
A death to
not.
their worldview or their idea is at stake, or their ideals, or relationship, or, um, a memory can be, a happy memory when truth is discovered can be destroyed. And when they find out what really happened. I mean, there's so many ways that the death of it can be described as in stakes, but how to raise the stakes. Um, I think you just you need to make the character feel like they are up against a wall, and have
Right.
no other choice. Um,
You have to keep asking, how can I make it worse?
right.
Right? As the you're the creator. So how can I make this worse for them? Right? But how can I make that worse? But how can I make that worse? And then you bring it until you get all the way until okay, well the world will explode, right? And then you dial it back a notch. So because you can make those stakes as high as you want them to.
Right. You can also raise the stakes by putting them in a impossible situation of between two choices of, I like to call it the Jean Valjean moment. Like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. Like, two choices are horrible to make, whether or if they have to give something up to make the right choice. So it's putting them, up against a wall, making them make an impossible choice. Um, Having to give something up.
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
So very good. I think we answered that question really well. I'm going to pat ourselves on the back on that one.
Great.
Right? All right, we got a question from the audience.
Let
Love
me
it.
actually make one more
Oh,
point about that, because you brought up Katniss and Hunger Games. I think
yeah.
it's a really good exercise to just dissect the Hunger Games and see how the stakes are raised throughout the book. The different choices that Katniss has to make and the different ways that she has to give up. And you can see like initially, um, her choices, herself or her sister. And
Mhm.
then, they just go up from there, and, so I think that's a really good exercise to just take books that you feel like the stakes are amazing and that you've just really pulled through and dissect them and see where the stakes start and where they end and what happens along the way.
Yes. I will say, however, you should not start your book the way Hunger Games did with the character waking up. Please don't do that. But other than that, I think that that is fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question from Charlie Ray. Do you prefer more voice and personality inquiries or clean, straight to the point pitches? Hmm.
I think this is a hard one also because it's probably agent specific.
Very.
I want clear to the point, the summary paragraph. Like, I want what happens in the book to be clear and to the point, but I think you can actually still do that by infusing a little bit of voice and personality. Like, if your book is funny, then the clear to the point pitch will also probably be funny. I think it will still reflect a little bit of of what your story, the feeling and the voice of your story. I don't know. What do you think, Anne?
Yes, I think that is exactly it. I don't think it's necessary if you are not a funny person, even though you can write a funny story. Like if that's not who you are, then I don't think it matters so much that the query has a voice. But if you can do it, fantastic, right? But still, also being concise, right? We still want to know what the story is about.
Right.
A really great example of this for me is a client that I have now. His name's Tom Phillips, and when he queried me, his query was funny, and his book, it was meant to be funny. And so I'm, well, if you're this funny in theory, you're going to be funny in your pages. And he
Right.
was, and he's fantastic. And obviously we've sold 3 books so far. So if you can do it, it can be very effective for the right person.
Right.
It was right for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Charlie Ray, we love you for asking so many questions. Okay, what makes you
Mm.
instantly connect with a character on the page?
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first on this one if you'd like. So I think a lot of times it's voice. Voice is really important. Just immediately, a good. I know it's going to sound that first sentence super important. Like it's got to like bring you into this world immediately. So if it starts with Bob awoke, probably not getting to the second sentence. But yeah, so voice is really important. I do read query letters, so like the intention of the story and like what the character wants and all of those things are really important to me too. But if I'm just like diving straight into pages without anything else, it's got to have amazing, amazing, amazing voice.
Yeah, same. That first sentence is, you know, the most expensive real estate in the entire book, I think. You've got, and then after that first sentence has to be the first paragraph. And after that first paragraph, the first page. And after that first page, the first chapter. And I'm like, usually if you've got them to read past the first chapter, you will have them hooked. But um, you are competing for these readers.
Yeah.
You're competing against so much, not other writers, not you're not competing for the editor's attention, you're not competing for the agent's attention, you're competing for the reader's attention. And the reader has laundry to do, kids screaming in the background, a dog to walk, TV they could be watching, music they could be listening to, a podcast, a video game. There's so much stuff that is competing for their attention. Worries, you know, calls from their mother. I don't all kinds of things. So you have got to make it count from the very first sentence. So for me, it is voice as well. And then in the first chapter, first 10 pages, I really need to see a character uh, have agency. I need to believe that
Yes.
there's somebody, this is somebody who I want to follow for an entire book. Like
Right.
there's enough to them that is going to make me believe that they can keep things interesting for the whole book, and I want to watch them do whatever they're going to do. So I think like voice and just agency. Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing that up because I was gonna go back to that because like yes, need the character actively trying to do something. So I usually say don't start with action, start with agency. And what I mean by that is a small compelling goal that the reader cares about. So it has to be something that's worthwhile for the reader to care about.
Mm.
So if your character wants to take a nap, I don't really care if they want to take a nap, right? Like that's I want to take a nap. So like that's not a compelling goal, right? Like we want a compelling goal. Okay, I got a pop-up message here. Let's see because I'm obviously not tech savvy for this. So we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. I'm so sorry Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook then. Okay, well then you know what? We're just going to remove Facebook. What do you say? Sorry, we're going to remove Facebook from this. Um all right, save changes. Let's see. Hopefully that fixes our little problem. Sorry, Facebook. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing the best I can. So, okay. So yes, agency. Start with agency. Small, compelling. Compelling
Mhm.
being the key word there. Goal. So hopefully that answers that question. Jessica, thanks for joining us tonight. It's so good to see you. Would y'all be willing to do a first pages panel sometime? I think that could be really fun. I would
I would
be
love
for
that.
it.
I love first pages panels. I think
Yeah.
they're so fun.
That's an excellent idea, Jessica.
Yeah.
And we will bring it to the team who obviously are not here tonight to help us with this.
You know the techness of it all.
Yes.
Yes.
So we will bring that to the team. And Jackie's actually in Japan, China,
No, Singapore.
Singapore. She's in Singapore and then she's going to Australia too, right? So
I don't know. I can't keep track. Yes,
she's far away from us right now. So
it's
that's
very
why
far away.
she's not with us this evening. But that is an excellent idea, Jessica. We should
I
totally
love
do
it.
that. And we should post about it. We should talk to Chelsea. She'll help us out.
Leslie will make it happen.
Our marketing guru, social media guru. Okay. Another question from the archives. I don't know. I don't know where these come from. Chelsea just gives them to us. So, what is work for hire and how can writers get these jobs?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, I know what work for hire is. Work for hire is when a publisher has an idea and they hire a writer to write that idea. And they can actually come in lots of different forms. I work in Kidlit only, and there's actually lots of work for hire in Kidlit, from everything from educational presses to the big five traditional presses. I've had clients who've done work for hire where they get royalties paid and their name on the stem of the book. It's copyright. And I've also had clients who wrote a book and their name won't appear on it at all. So I think it's a big range of payments, but usually it's a flat fee. And then that's it. So they'll pay you $5,000 to write a chapter book. So, but I do think things are changing because I have had clients who have gotten royalties recently. I think that if you really want work for hire and you're not agented, if you want to, like, say, write a Star Trek book or a what's other fan fiction, something Marvel or DC, just really building up your platform and letting people know that this is a area that you have expertise in and that you've got writing, you know, writing chops, I think is important, connections. But if you're agented, then your agent should have some tools and connections to help you get work for hire. Not always, it's still hard, but I think most presses have that. What my clients have done who've gotten work for hire, we create kind of a package for them and we send it out with writing samples.
Mhm.
And a lot of publishers will keep that kind of on hand as a like a database. So when they have a project comes up, they're like, "Oh, this person, might be interested in that," and then they will reach out to me, and they'll have like a idea or a synopsis, and they'll have you audition for it. So you might write a first chapter, or first 3 chapters, however many pages, and then submit that, and then they kind of take a look at it. But that's my experience, and I'm going to stop talking now because that's probably the extent of my experience.
No, you did great. I mean, I have nothing to add. So all of those things, 100%. And just to kind of go off of what you said, is that we do try to seek out
Mm,
opportunities for clients too. So if we hear through the grapevine about a project or something, we will be reaching out. We reach out to editors too. I mean, obviously just cold,
mhm,
but if we hear something, I think agents are pretty good about sharing information. So
mhm, mhm.
all right. So Charlie Ray, from a craft perspective, what's the most common thing that makes you stop reading a manuscript? Sorry, I have so many questions. Do not be sorry. We
So
want
sorry.
all of your questions. Thank you
That's
very
why we're
much.
here.
That is why we're here. You can ask them all tonight. That is why we are here. Okay, so from a craft perspective, what's the most common thing that makes you stop reading a manuscript? Kelly?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's well, again, it's voice, but okay, what creates that voice? For me, a lot of times it's point of view violations. I am really picky with first person point of view. I When it's done right, I don't notice it. Like it should be so good that I don't notice it's in first point person point of view. But almost always I notice that first person point of view, and it's not written well.
Mm.
So what would be a point of view violation? So when you're just in a person's head and they're thinking things that a person wouldn't think, like, oh, look at my beautiful blonde hair today. It's lying so beautifully. And I pick out a pink dress to go to my first day of school and I meet my best friend. And I'm like, you don't think that as you're doing things. You don't describe yourself like that. That's like violations, in my opinion. Um, you just want to be in the moment, experiencing the world as your character's experiencing your world. So you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, there's my best friend." You'd just say, "Hey, Charlie, where are you?" Or "Good to see you," that kind of thing. Um, so I also really, um, a craft thing that I wish writers would spend more time learning how to control is narrative distance. Because to
Mm.
me, it's really evident when a writer doesn't understand narrative distance, meaning if they're writing in first person or third person, and there is a lot of distance between the author or the writer and the character. Now, if you're writing an omniscient, then the voice has to be perfect and you're supposed to be more distant. But I really just handling that when to go in close and when to come back far. Um, if you can't really handle that, sometimes it can be fixed. Like if it's just a little thing, but if I can tell that they don't really understand how to handle that narrative distance, I usually, again, and a lot of that comes back to voice. It's usually evidenced in the voice, and I kind of stop reading.
Those are all really, really good ones, and I agree with them. And I also think too, we go back to what we kind of talked about before with agency.
Mm.
Like the character has to have some agency. As for craft in itself, though, one thing that's kind of my pet peeve, besides when we start with the character waking up,
Yeah.
is ing starting sentences.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of times, especially in first person, people try to use those to vary. So it's not like, I do this, then I do that, then I do this. It's like kneeling, I grab my shoes.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Mhm.
those ones feel clunky to me. And when you have too many of them after a while, I'm just like, okay, this is not
Mhm.
working for me. So that would be like a craft thing specifically that I find as problematic. I don't know.
Mm.
Just I don't love it. I don't love it.
And I
So,
think it is interesting because this is again makes what makes you stop reading. Like what makes me stop reading may not be an issue for another agent. So this is where writing is so subjective, and
right,
that's a good thing. Not all books should be for all people. So
right. Because that's another good point because like filtering for me is another one.
mm,
So when it's like I heard, I saw,
mm,
I looked, I felt, I all of those filtering kinds of phrases, I after a while those start to bother me as well. Just
mhm.
like you don't have to tell us that you see the bird in order for us to understand that you've seen it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So for those of you out there, it's would be the difference between like I saw a red bird fly overhead versus a red bird flew overhead, right? They both tell us that the bird has been seen. So we don't have to say I saw. That's all.
Right.
Okay. Those are,
Okay.
that's the,
This is
those are
actually
what?
this next comment is
From
hilarious.
Charles?
No,
From Bebe.
is absolutely hilarious.
I don't even speak English. In fact, this live appeared to me out of nowhere. But being a curious Brazilian, I decided to enter, and so far I don't know what it is about. Oh my god, this is so fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us. This is the Literary Lens podcast, and we are literary agents who are answering your questions about publishing. So I cannot say that in Spanish. I apologize, but hopefully.
Or Portuguese.
Or Portuguese, yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, that's
Oh,
fantastic that it's like,
I
"I
love
don't
it.
know how you found this. This is amazing." So, thanks for coming and joining us. If you have questions about publishing or books or anything like that, we probably could answer some film questions. So, or throw a curveball at us, like, "What's our favorite flavor ice cream?" I don't know. Whatever you want. You can ask us all the questions. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. I love it. I love it. Okay, let me go grab another question. Okay, it's coming. I know I have too many tabs open. Let's see. Okay, what do you expect to see in the first chapter of a novel? Whoo! That's a question. I feel like you will answer this so well, Kelly. I don't even want to try.
I'm actually having to gather my thoughts. I mean, it's this is very I think to a degree it's a little bit genre specific.
That's fair.
But basically for the first chapter of a novel, I would again, let's go back to agency, character agency, but I would want to be able to have some answer for the person sitting next to me who says, "Hey, what's this book about?" Now, it doesn't have to be specific. It could just be about a woman who's moved to Missouri. I don't know. It can be something like that. But I would need to have a basic idea of what the character wants externally and maybe what they want internally, what they're up against. Again, it doesn't have to be the full, like what happens in the climax, but just a little bit enough about the character that I could answer those two goals, where the novel's set, um, kind of what the characters worldview is or their controlling belief enough about them to say this is somebody who can drive a story, is probably going to get into some trouble, and I want to follow them. um, and also we need to see stakes. um,
I was hoping you were going to get
yeah,
there.
it doesn't have to be big stakes, but I think that if you tell us what they want externally and internally somehow, then stakes should be there as well. So
They kind
again,
of reveal themselves. Like,
right.
we don't have to be specifically told, "The world will end," right? But we have to have that feeling like, "Oh, something's big is gonna come of this. Like, this is gonna be worthwhile of a read."
Right. I mean, I think again, back to Hunger Games, and I guess we keep using that is because I think most people, if they haven't
Have
read the
read
book,
it.
have at least seen the movie, they understand the premise of the story. But by the end of the first chapter, you know what the Hunger Games are, and that
Mhm.
there's a potential for Katniss to be picked or someone she cares about to be picked. Those are the stakes. It's the potential of something happening. Um,
Yeah. Alright. We are so good at this. Me again. Hey, keep coming. Keep all the questions coming. Okay. What pacing issues do you see most often in early manuscript? Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to
you go
start.
first. Yes.
Starting in the wrong place. This happens a lot, especially with new writers. They think that they have to set everything up, like they have to tell us everything about the world and the character and all of the things in order for us to understand the journey that they are about to go on. But we don't necessarily need all of that. A lot of times, especially for new writers, your first chapter ends up being like whatever you write for chapter three, because chapter one and chapter two are just the backstory to get us to chapter three. So I say starting in the wrong place generally is one thing. And then on the flip side, I think worrying so much about like this twist ending that you're so married to, but you didn't really think about how the middle was going to get you there is it can sometimes backfire for you. So because like you have this idea and but you know how to get to that, but not really, and so there's like not enough space between how you start and this twist that you want to have happen, and so then you end up with this murky middle because You're like, well, they have to do something for 40,000 words for this novel. So how am I going to do that?
Mm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think pacing uh, has a lot to do with tension, and tension has to do with stakes again. So, again, if the stakes are not clear, then the tension lags and then the pacing can lag. I think you can also have pacing issues if there is kind of a emotional monotony with the characters. It meaning some people take the pacing and up to like 1,000 miles an hour. Like it opens with a banger of a scene and it just keeps going. And there's no up and down emotionally, like a chance for the reader to catch their breath, a chance for the character to internally process. And I think the pacing actually, sometimes you need to slow down because if the pacing is too fast without any kind of emotional processing or internal um, kind of resonance, then it just becomes episodic and the reader can just get worn out. So you do
Mhm.
have to really look and make sure that you are taking time for the reader to process. And actually, a really great way to study that is to look at movies like action
Mhm.
movies and see, like, okay, between a huge action sequence, there's always a quiet moment. And, either it's relational or, they're the characters realizing something about themselves that then kicks them into another action sequence. So you kind of need that ebb and flow.
Right. I call that taking a breath. So it's
Yeah.
like you need your characters to take a moment to take a breath. And by doing that, you allow your reader to take a breath.
Hmm.
So, because as you said, if you don't, then if you have this like just go, 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 go all the way, then it can be a lot. And there's no
Hmm.
time to, like you said, to process all the things that have been happening. So, and I think it's in those processing moments too that character development really happens, right? And like that's where we really get to connect to them and see their vulnerabilities.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I think this question from Maria, hi Maria, goes back to what do we want to see in our first chapters, and so that's kind of when it popped up. So, I think if this is incorrect, Maria, please correct me. So, does that hold true for cozy stories about what you want to see in your first chapters? I think that means like setting goals and stakes and all of that. I yes. Do you
Hmm.
agree? Yeah. So I will okay, good, that is what she meant. So for example, and I'm gonna use my own book because I wrote it. So in A Excellent Chance to Fall in Love, which comes out next month, by the way, it's I would call that a really cozy story, right? It's a very, very cozy story. But in the first chapter, we find out right away that Pepper is cursed and she only has 70 days to live. And once her store closes, everyone in town will once again forget about her. So we have set up stakes
Uh-oh. Is it me going in and out or is it Anne?
full of very cozy. And I
Uh,
think I glitched out. Did you get me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You
Am I
glitched a
here?
little bit. Yeah. You're there now.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was me
Okay.
or you.
It's me. I think it's our internet.
Mm.
So I don't know if we heard all of that, but yes, cozy stories, you want to still set up those stakes and everything along the way. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Someone just knocked at my door. I don't know who this is. Do they not know that I'm live on the interwebs right now? I
Mm.
cannot help them. It could be Ed McMahon. He could have $1,000,000. I would have no idea. I'm never getting that check, am I? Nobody knows this reference. I am so old. I just told everyone how old I was.
Mhm.
Okay. How much of a picture book story should I leave for the artist? How can I show those parts of the story in my submission package? Well, Kelly, this one is all you, girl, because
Okay.
I don't take on picture books like this. So,
I mean, this is hard. So The typical um, wisdom about this is that illustrators should be telling at least 50% of the story. So it's hard to know what that 50% is if they're making it up and you don't, you're just writing it. So this is the trick with picture book writing. How can you show those parts of the story in your submission um, packet? You can always use art notes, but that's generally frowned upon. Sometimes you can do a general art note, like at the beginning, like note to artist, the setting for this is such and such, which will lend to this kind of action. And then just leave it at that. If that's important to know and it's not really evident in your text, or, the character should start here and end here in terms of how they grow. And you can show it in lots of different ways. But I think that the way to really study how to show how much of the story of the like art notes or the story is to type out picture book texts and read them, and then study just the art and see how much of the story is carried in the art, and how much, if you're just looking at the text typed out on your screen, is just not there, and just see how the artist expounded. And that really helps you when you write. I mean, a lot of my example or answers are like, well, if you study and you look at other books, but this is the old adage of, you know, the best way to be a good writer is to be a strong reader and read with a critical eye. So that's gonna a lot of my oh, Lane.
Lane is trolling us.
Lane's
So,
trolling.
so Lane, picture books are not easy to write, and you know this.
I think that
Also, I
this is a
totally blew it
sarcastic
tonight. I'm gonna
comment.
need a lesson on how to do all this tech stuff one day because I messed it all up tonight. So I'm sorry, Lane. So
Yeah.
you can yell at me later. Um,
I hope your headache is better, Lane. I hope your
yeah.
meds have kicked in. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. You just made me think of another question. I love this.
Me
Please
too.
ask us all the questions. Promises is my last. No, it does not have to be, and you do not have to make that promise. What is one thing you wish more writers understood about building a long-term career? Oh, we did
I
not pay this
love
person.
this.
We
This
did
is
not pay this
awesome.
person to come to this. That is a great question.
It's
Beyond just
awesome.
landing an agent or a one book deal. Wow. That's a fantastic question. Kelly, go ahead.
Well, I need to collect my thoughts on this. There's just one thing.
One
The
well, I mean,
one thing. That's a lot of pressure. There's lots of things I wish more writers
all of them.
understood.
Keep going. Just bring them all out. You don't have to just do
Um,
one.
well, first of all, it's I want people to write lots of books.
Mhm.
So, um, having when you query a writer, I want one of my questions if we have a phone call is, well, what other projects do you have, in the works? Because I want to know that you're not just a one-hit wonder sending me this amazing book. I want to know that there's going to be a long-term career that we could work together on. Another question, oh gosh, you go and I'll collect because I'm kind of excited about this. You keep saying.
Okay, so I think one thing that's been coming up a lot in conversations recently is understanding that writing is an art.
Mm,
Publishing is a business.
yes,
So
exactly.
these are not the same thing. Now, sometimes art and business get to overlap, and the artist is really happy with what is happening, and the business is very happy with what the artist create. But a lot of times these do not happen in the same lane. So if you want to be a traditionally published author, sometimes you have to make your work more in the business lane. You have to think about it as a business, right? What is the hook of the story? Who is my reader of the story? Who is going to be satisfied by this story? So just,
But it's so beautifully.
oh, thanks.
Well,
What
I
else
think
do
as
you got?
well, I also think that, once you publish, because it is a business, and you are your business. You become a business as an author. So really you need to think about yourself as a brand. Like you need
Mhm.
to think about how to protect in your image of, I mean, it's so many things. Not that you have to be like super on social media, but you do have a bit of a platform. And I think that's becoming more and more of a necessity in publishing these days with the economy coming and challenges to books. But I think that you need to look at yourself as a professional and not just an artist. And it's kind of painful. Um,
Mhm.
but if you want to publish, it's a reality that you have to live in.
Yeah.
You're very good at this, Anne, because she is a author, a writer, and she is a businesswoman. You get this. It's a world you're living in.
Every day. And I actually had a really long conversation with one of my clients this week about her brand and
Mm,
what she wants to do and her career path. And, we're waiting on some contracts and like all of the things, but it's,
mm.
talking about long-term goals and strategy for her. So that is definitely a part of that conversation. Um, so I hope that answers your question. And thanks, Lane. I cut my hair, as you all can tell.
It's
And
adorable.
thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
Maria.
Maria.
Also, Maria, you need to, I don't remember how you contacted me about your SCBWI submission, but however that is, contact me again. I can't remember if it was via messaging or email. I don't know. Because I have a question for you. Anyway.
I have Maria's email address if you need it because I've been talking
I
to
probably do too.
Maria. And I have not forgotten about you. I promise, Maria, I have not forgotten about you at all. Okay, so for people who want a career as both an author and illustrator, is it important to rep both of those things on social media, or can you lean more into the art side? Oh, that's a good question.
It is a good question. I all of my authors and illustrators are mostly picture book people. So they're really pushing their art on Instagram. And then when their books come out, it's showing their books as a whole. And I know you work is with graphic novels. And I I'm trying to think most I think a lot of people like use Instagram because it's very visual for their art, and they may be pushing their writing more on on like Blue Sky or Twitter or I don't know. Do you have clients who are authors and illustrators and that you're thinking how do they what do they mostly what
Well,
platforms do they use?
Stan is my graphic novel writer. Obviously, he has his book. I'm gonna try. Oh, is it right here? Do I have it right here? Can I show off the cover? No, of course not. It's not within reaching distance. Okay, so The Many Misfortunes of Eugenia Wang is coming out next month, and it's fantastic, and everyone should go buy a copy. Um, he does a lot of art stuff, mostly on his socials. So whether that be Instagram, TikTok, or Blue Sky, he is promoting a lot of his art that goes along with those novels. I mean, especially for graphic novels because they are storytelling through mostly art.
Mm,
So, and then Melanie also her website a lot of what she shares is also artistic. She doesn't share as much on socials because of different AI scraping policies, blah 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 blah. And I know that that is a concern for
mhm.
artists, a valid concern. I don't mean blah 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 like it's not a concern. Like it's a valid concern that she has to deal with. So yeah, I don't know. But those are
I
my
think yeah, but I think like Maria, if your novel gets published, then you would promote it more as a writer,
Mhm.
too. And I think that, if you have you don't have to like not promote your art at that point. But I think it also just depends on the the moment at hand with whatever is the project is that you're working on and putting out there. Anyway, I love Charles's comment though, that speaking from a business
Oh, I
perspective,
didn't.
it helps him to write a business plan for each book. Brilliant.
Oh,
We love that.
that is.
I love that. I love that.
Can you do that for me in my books, Charles? Please. No, I'm just kidding. For my own books, I feel like I like fly by the seat of my
Yeah,
pants. But that is a great comment, Charles. Thank you
yeah.
for that. All right, Charlie Ray, what's
Mm.
one story? Does it only have to be one? Hopefully, it can be more. What's a story, two stories? What are you looking for? And you're hoping will land in your inbox tomorrow, Kelly.
Well, I for years, and it's has not changed, I would love a good heist. Like, if you could comp it with Six of Crows, I want it. Um, I also would love a cozy YA, like, fantasy. Trying to think what else. There is something else. I haven't, but, you answer, and then if I have something else, I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm still would love a lesbian cowgirl book.
Yes, that'd be
I'm
awesome.
I would really love that. I would love lesbian cowgirls. So that is one. I am always here for a good girls getting together to smash the patriarchy, get revenge, something like all of that, but like very girl power, girl forward. So no mean girls, no, oh, the neighbor is a, can I say bitch on this? The neighbor is a terrible person. Like we're going to kill her. Like I don't like the mean girlness. I really am trying to get through to women that we are not each other's enemies as much as the patriarchy wants us to believe that. And we need to stop that nonsense and just support each other. So those are kind of stories that I always love, and this women supporting women stories in however way, shape, or form that happens. So do you have another one now, Kelly?
I would love a middle grade with serious potential, kind of just adventure. It does not have to be fantasy, it can be fantasy, but like just really high adventure middle grade.
You're going to be mad that my client is working on that right now.
That's
No,
fine.
actually, you're going to love reading it because it's going to be
Yeah, I love
fantastic.
reading it. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
So, yeah, those are good. I'm, as you know, still close to middle grade right now. So I'm still open to YA, and I'm still wanting more adult projects just in general.
Mm,
So, however that happens, I would love some more adult stuff in my inbox. Not that I don't love kidlit and that I don't want kidlit. I just, that's that. Jessica, how much of your career is dependent on your agent, the deal you get with an editor, pub, house, or the strength of your manuscript? Oh,
this is a good question, and I have thoughts about this.
good.
You go first, though, if you have
No,
thoughts.
no, let's hear them. I would love to
Well,
hear your
okay,
thoughts.
just based on my own beginning as a baby agent, everybody has to start somewhere, and my first clients took a real risk because I didn't have you've gotta start somewhere, and I didn't have any deals, so you work your way up, and, I'm so grateful they did take risks. Their books are amazing. They were amazing. They are amazing. Um, and I was able to sell them so everybody starts somewhere. Um, but the experience of your agents is important. Your career is important on your experience as an agent. I have wonderful mentorship. I always have from the beginning. And I think that's really super important because um, no deal is the same, but you need I mean, you need to know what you're doing. So it's not like you can just, I was a brand new baby agent, but I'd had lots of training and I had wonderful mentors. So this, I knew how to go about the career. I mean, the submitting, and then once deals came in, the negotiating and the dealing with the contract and all of that. Um, but it was the strength of the manuscript that sold the book. I mean, I
Mhm.
knew how to put it out there, and so I didn't have to be a big name agent to put it out there professionally and get the attention of the editors, but it was the strength of the manuscript that sold the book. Um, does that make sense what I'm saying? So, like, I didn't have to be, a powerhouse agent to sell the books because I just had to know what I'm doing and have the training um, to do that. But once the book is out there, it's the strength of the manuscript that sells the book.
Yeah. I think my internet is glitching again, but I 100% agree with you. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So I hope that answers your question. And we are almost done for the night.
Oh, wow,
So,
really?
yeah. So I know we had a rough start. Thank you for the few people that have stuck with us through the evening. And hope you have had all your questions. If you have any more last minute questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. And have any client books that are coming out next month, Kelly?
I do. I have Tuck and Tina's and The Lost Fortune. I don't.
I know. I was
No,
like, why don't I have one in reaching distance here?
I
Why
know. I don't have
I
it in
did not
recent distance,
prepare.
but it's been published in the UK and it's now being published here in the US in 1 week. 1 week? Yeah. So I am very excited about that. It's beautiful. It's by Jess Brillier and Jack Keeley. It's a highly illustrated young novel. Think of like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but for before you're ready for that book. So maybe for
Oh,
first and second graders. And the second book, I'll be in the UK in a week and a half when their second book comes out in the UK. So it's going to be really
yay.
fun. Really excited about that.
Excellent. I love that. Well, I am also a terrible agent tonight, and all of Stan's books are across the way. And his book is coming out next month, which is The Many Misfortunes of Eugenia Wang by Stan Yan. And then I am, however, a good author because I have my own book that's sitting right here, which is, you
Yay.
know, A Excellent Chance to Fall in Love, which is my sweetly spooky paranormal sapphic romance coming out. So we
I'm
talked a little
so
bit about it.
excited for you. That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm really excited too. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's a fun story. So if you like cozy stories, there you go.
I do.
So,
It'll be
all right.
fun.
So that is it for another episode of the Literary Lens podcast. I don't know if I'm glitching. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can
But
hear you.
until next month, which is on September 24th, it seems, will be our next episode, our next AMA. And Jessica, we will bring up with Lane, who is listening now, about doing a first pages
Right,
panel.
that's
So,
great. Yeah, and I love middle grade adventure. That's like the meat of my list. So bring it. I love it.
oh, there you go. So fantastic. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And we hope to see you on socials or next time.
Yep.
Bye.